Okay, it's that time of show where we have the movie review with Rocco Pasafumi, and we call it Around the Movie Block with The Rock. And now I want to hear about Upside.
Right. Yes, the movie I'm doing is Upside. It is like the first big movie of 2019. Howie and I saw this about 3 weeks ago during our time off from the show. It is directed by Neil Berger, and it stars Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. It is actually a remake of a 2011 French film called The Untouchables. And being that I had the time off, I was able to see both movies and I'm going to be able to compare the two as I do the review for this movie. The Upside is a comedic look at the relationship between a wealthy quadriplegic, Philip Lacasse, played by Cranston, and Del Scott, an unemployed man with a criminal record who's hired to help him. The things that you notice that are different between The Untouchables and The Upside is that there's more of an equal focus on both of the characters in this movie. The Upside was tailored to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is the star of this movie. Kevin Hart has the top billing versus Bryan Cranston. So this was tailored more to be a Kevin Hart movie. So with that, it's also more comedic. It's a much more, like, the comedy aspects of it are played up more. There's also more development in Kevin Hart's character versus in the original. And so the big difference right away with The Upside is that it's not just about Philip Lacasse, but it's also about Del Scott. It's about the both of them in this movie. And in some ways, that's a pretty good way to go for an American adaptation. It gives it a distinction from the French movie. The French movie was more about the French equivalent of Philip Lacasse. So, there's already a clear difference, and it works for this movie pretty well. It's like I said, it's a more comedic movie. Kevin Hart has really grown. He's a phenomenal superstar, and not in the world of stand-up comedy, but also gotten there as also an actor too. So he's a great charismatic talent, not unlike Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But I feel like with this movie, this is definitely like his best movie, because we really get to see, because usually Kevin Hart, when he does these movies, he's more like the second banana, and he's always sort of like, getting he's like the butt of the joke all the time in a movie. But this is where he really gets to take center stage and be more of a presence in a movie. So, as a Kevin Hart movie, The Upside is definitely his best movie yet. I feel like there's a lot of elements to it that will please a lot of people, especially people who never really watch Kevin Hart on screen. Like, it has like a nice crowd-pleasing vibe, and I think that's what's great about this movie. Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston are great actors. They work really well together. The movie itself, I think, when you compare it to The Untouchables, it kind of goes for the easy joke a little bit too much. But that's okay with this kind of movie. I think if you want to see a movie that's fun and makes you think a little bit, like an uplifting movie, this is a great movie to go see. I really do feel like as far as a remake goes, and as far as a Kevin Hart movie particularly goes, it is a great movie to see, and I think it's definitely a breath of fresh air from the movies that we normally get to see out of Hollywood theatrical releases. So, like I said, it's not a great substitute for The Untouchables. The Untouchables, I think, is a much better movie, and I think it tells the story a little bit and more true to how the story actually was versus The Upside, which is, I think, more fictionalized and more like a Kevin Hart vehicle rather than, true to what actually happened. But I think there's room for both movies, and I think that with The Upside, you'll get a nice, fun movie that really lets Kevin Hart shine and show like why he's a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood today. So, like I said, this is definitely the first great movie of 2019. So I give The Upside 3 out of 5 stars. So thank you very much.
Okay, Rocco, great job on The Upside.